In this intriguing video, we dive deep into decoding the prophecy of Ezekiel 38 and its connection to the Israeli-Hamas war in 2023. Join us as we unravel the mysterious passages and shed light on the meaning behind these prophecies. Whether you're a believer or simply curious about biblical prophecies, this video will provide valuable insights and a greater understanding of this significant event. Don't forget to like this video if you find it informative and thought-provoking.
Have you ever pondered the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38 and what they might mean in our modern world? Think about it, an ancient text, thousands of years old, that may hold clues to understanding current global events. Intriguing, isn't it? This is not just any prophecy, it's one that has intrigued scholars and theologians for centuries. So do these ancient words hold relevance in our contemporary world? Join us as we delve into the depths of this ancient prophecy and attempt to unravel its mysteries. In the heart of the Old Testament, a prophecy emerges from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. In this ancient chapter, the prophet Ezekiel, during the time of Israel's Babylonian captivity, delivers a prophecy of a future war involving a coalition of nations led by a figure known as Gog, from the land of Magog. This prophecy is steeped in mystery and intrigue, a riddle waiting to be unraveled. Ezekiel was a priest-turned-prophet who lived in a time of great upheaval for the Israelites. His prophecies were birthed from visions and divine encounters, and were often a mix of warning and hope. The 38th chapter of his book contains one such prophecy, a prediction of a great war that would come upon the land of Israel. The prophecy begins with the Lord commanding Ezekiel to set his face towards Gog, the leader of Magog, Meshech, and Tubal. The identity of these entities has been a matter of much debate among scholars. Some interpret Gog as a symbolic representation of all the enemies of Israel, while others believe it refers to a specific individual or nation yet to be revealed. Similarly, Magog, Meshech, and Tubal are believed to represent ancient nations, possibly located in modern-day Turkey, although there are other theories as well. Regardless of the exact identities, the prophecy tells of these nations forming an alliance and launching an attack on the land of Israel. The prophecy continues with a vivid description of this invasion, with imagery of a storm covering the land and a vast army like a cloud. It speaks of a time when Israel, having been gathered from many nations, will be living in peace and security, only to face this sudden onslaught. This prophecy, tucked away in the pages of the Old Testament, is more than just a tale of war. It is a divine message, a glimpse into the future, a warning of events yet to come. It is a puzzle with pieces scattered across time and geography, waiting to be assembled. This prophecy has intrigued scholars for centuries, but what does it mean? Decoding a prophecy is no easy task, and it requires a careful examination of the text and its context. So how do we go about decoding the prophecy of Ezekiel 38? Let's take a closer look. The first step in the decoding process is the careful study of the text itself. Scholars pore over the words and phrases used in the prophecy, analyzing their meaning and significance. They use various methods and tools, such as linguistic analysis, to delve into the language used. They seek to understand the nuances, the metaphors, and the symbolism that the prophet Ezekiel might have employed. Next, they turn to the historical context. The prophecy was written during a specific time in history, and understanding that period is crucial to unraveling its meaning. Scholars study the geopolitical landscape of the time, the social customs, and the religious beliefs. They ask questions like, what was happening in the world when Ezekiel wrote this prophecy? Who were the major players? What were the common cultural practices and beliefs? The cultural context is equally important. The prophecy was written for a specific audience, the people of Israel, and understanding their culture and belief system is key to decoding the prophecy. Scholars look at the cultural symbols and metaphors used and try to understand how the original audience would have interpreted them. Finally, scholars use theological analysis to understand the prophecy's religious significance. They examine how the prophecy fits within the larger narrative of the Bible, and how it relates to other biblical prophecies. They consider the theological themes and concepts present in the prophecy and how they contribute to its overall message. Decoding a prophecy is indeed a complex process. It's a puzzle that requires time, patience, and a deep understanding of history, culture, and theology. But it's also a fascinating journey, one that can offer us new insights and perspectives. With these tools in hand, we can begin to unravel the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38. So what do the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38 tell us? This question has intrigued scholars, theologians, and truth seekers for centuries. The interpretations of this prophecy are as varied as the people who study it, but some key themes consistently emerge. Firstly, Ezekiel 38 is often interpreted as a prophecy about a great war involving Israel. This war is depicted as a conflict of immense scale, with nations from all corners of the globe converging on the Holy Land. In our modern world, where tensions in the Middle East are ever present, it's not hard to see why some believe this prophecy could be unfolding before our very eyes. However, this interpretation is not universally accepted. Some scholars argue that Ezekiel was not predicting future events, but rather using the language and imagery of war to convey a spiritual message. They suggest that the war referred to in the prophecy is symbolic, representing the spiritual battles that each of us faces in our own lives. There's also a perspective that views Ezekiel 38 as a metaphor for the internal struggles within the nation of Israel itself. From this viewpoint, the prophecy is not about external conflict, but rather about the internal divisions and challenges that Israel must overcome. Each of these interpretations offers a different lens through which to view the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38, and each has its own relevance to the events of our modern world. For those who interpret the prophecy as a prediction of a great war, the ongoing conflicts and political tensions in the Middle East are seen as potential harbingers of the events foretold in Ezekiel 38. For those who see the prophecy as a spiritual allegory, the challenges and struggles that we face in our own lives, or that we witness in the world around us, can be seen as echoes of the war that Ezekiel describes. And for those who view the prophecy as a metaphor for internal struggles within Israel, the ongoing debates and divisions within the nation itself can be seen as a manifestation of the internal war that Ezekiel foresaw. The beauty of prophecy, and why it continues to captivate us, is that it is multi-layered, complex, and open to interpretation. Each interpretation of Ezekiel 38 offers a different perspective and a different insight, and each has the potential to deepen our understanding of the world, of spirituality, and of ourselves. Indeed, the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38 are not just predictions of future events, but also a mirror that reflects our own lives, our own struggles, and our own search for meaning. They challenge us to look beyond the surface, to question, to seek, and to strive for understanding. While interpretations may vary, the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38 continue to captivate us and provoke thoughtful discussion. So, let's continue to explore, to question, and to seek understanding. For in the pursuit of truth, we find not just answers, but also a deeper connection to our shared human journey. We've journeyed through the ancient text of Ezekiel 38 and explored its prophetic signs. We've delved into the depths of this compelling prophecy and uncovered its profound significance. First, we began by introducing the prophecy itself, shedding light on the context and the key figures involved. We looked at the biblical land of Magog, the character of Gog, and the alliance of nations prophesied to wage war against Israel. We explored the interpretation of these entities, understanding how scholars have linked them to modern-day nations and events. A prophecy, we learned, is not just an ancient text, but a living, breathing narrative that continues to resonate in our contemporary world. Next, we embarked on the decoding process. We learned how scholars and theologians use historical, cultural, and linguistic tools to interpret the text. We discussed the importance of understanding the original language of the text, the historical context in which it was written, and the cultural nuances that influenced its composition. We discovered that decoding a prophecy is not merely about literal translation, but about immersing ourselves in the world of the text to uncover its true meaning. Following this, we delved into the main interpretations of the prophetic signs. We saw how different scholars have deciphered the text, each bringing their unique perspective and insight. Some see the prophecy as a literal prediction of future events, while others view it as a metaphorical representation of spiritual battles. We understood that the interpretations vary widely, but all agree on the central theme of the prophecy, the ultimate victory of God's people. Finally, we explored the implications of the prophecy for our lives today. We reflected on how the prophecy speaks to ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and the broader spiritual battles we face in our own lives. We saw how the prophecy, though written thousands of years ago, still speaks powerfully to us today, offering hope and assurance in the midst of turmoil. And now, we find ourselves at the end of our journey, yet the exploration doesn't end here. The study of prophecy is an ongoing process, a continuous journey of discovery and understanding. We've only just scratched the surface of the rich, complex world of biblical prophecy. As we continue to ponder the prophetic signs of Ezekiel 38, we are reminded of the enduring power and relevance of these ancient texts. Let us carry these insights with us as we navigate our own paths, drawing strength and wisdom from the timeless lessons these prophecies offer.